Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 65 of A Year of Change. Today I had intended on talking about a little bit of exercise just because we sort of started in on that since last week. But I think instead I'm going to revisit something that I mentioned on Saturday. Just because it's in the forefront of my mind, and although I'm supposed to wait until Thursday to talk about myself, it's not working out that way. We may have to abandon the nice fancy schedule that I made up. I'd like to keep at least some of it together, but it just doesn't seem to be working. So, on Saturday when I was doing the recording, I just sort of came to the realization that maybe I wasn't going after food when I was bored, like I used to. And during the day, it was sort of one of those, I'll think about it and had a bit of a revelation sort of thing. But I just sort of wanted to touch base on it because it's something that I've continued to think about over the past couple of days. And although in my head, I'm pretty sure that's what it is, that, when I'm bored, I used to go to food automatically. And just didn't matter what, just something just to eat, just to pass the time. And unless I was actually full, then I would just keep eating. Didn't even have to be hungry. And I had noticed over the past couple of days that that wasn't the case anymore. I was bored, but I was legitimately bored, so I was going out and doing something. So, the part of the reason why I wanted to address this is that it's very dangerous to sort of have one of those false epiphanies. I do think that might be what it is, but I still need to be very much aware of what I'm doing when I am bored. Because if I sort of get into the mindset that, I don't look at food anymore when I get bored, then when I do get bored, if I'm not thinking about it, I'm going to go to food, and then I'm just going to say, well, no, obviously I'm not bored. Things are fine. I'm not, I don't go to food anymore. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's one of those things that you do have to be very careful. We've all done this before, where you say, I've had a breakthrough, and I really enjoy this, or I like this certain health food, or I'm feeling great when I exercise. And we get complacent, and we get to a stage where we think, that time that I exercised, I didn't feel good. I must be sick. I better take a couple of days off. And then that gradually turns into a week, and that turns into a month, and then we get back to where we were, that sort of thing. Or if you say, I can't eat fried foods anymore. And then you go out and you do have fried foods, and you think, that I was okay there. But, so it's sort of, we're very quick, and it's very easy for us to delude ourselves. And I don't want to get to that point. I really do think that, and this is now overthinking the fact that I'm not thinking about food, but I do think that when I'm bored now, food isn't the first thing I go to. I want to go do something or, occupy my time with something instead of just going and eating. The problem is that if I say, then I'm done, I don't need to worry about that anymore, then if I do start eating, then in my head, I'm going to start telling myself, I must have been hungry, so it's okay. And I went over a bit, but I was really, really hungry, so I start being able to justify it and then start sliding back into it. So I really need to be very much aware of when I'm bored, when I'm eating, when I'm hungry. If I just want to eat something and I'm not hungry, which we've all done. And I mean, things are much, much better now because I've been going and doing this for 2 months. But there's still that risk. We've all gotten to a point where we thought, no, we're out of the woods, we're in a good spot. And then we just go back to where we were. Obviously, I have as well. Otherwise, I wouldn't be the size I am. So if you run into something like that where you think, I've had a breakthrough, and this is the best part of this, and this is why I'm going to succeed, just be very mindful of that, because our habits that we've adopted over years and years and years, they want to stay cemented in our mind. We want to keep that. As much as we hate it, just like any other addict, we will fool ourselves into thinking that we're fine when we aren't. And it in a way, I guess it sort of takes away from having a realization like that when you think, my God, for the past few days, and it was really exciting for me, and it still sort of is, that not thinking about it, not consciously making an effort, saying, okay, I'm bored, I need to go do something, just knowing that when I am bored, food isn't the very first thing that I think of. It's not my go-to anymore. And I don't care if it's, TV or going outside or, whatever you do to replace it. Just the fact that I'm not going to that immediately, and not consciously aware of it either, was really, it was a good day for me. But of course, me being me, and, I tend to not necessarily be a pessimist, but I'm very pragmatic. I look at things and think, okay, realistically speaking, how is this going to work? And that's when I got to the point where I thought, okay, if I'm just assuming that I'm not eating because I'm bored anymore, then the next time I end up going and eating when I'm bored, I'm going to assume that, oh, well, I must have been hungry or must have been craving something. And it's very easy to get back into those bad eating habits, which I really, really don't want to do. I've made quite a bit of ground. I think we all have, actually, at this stage. We're 65 days in. And to lose that because of, for lack of a better term, a false positive on something is, that would be just devastating. I do not want to start over on that. And that fear of going back is, I haven't really done a whole lot, haven't made a huge number of changes, but I am making progress. And the fear of losing that and going back to where I was, and more than likely putting all the weight back on, is a real motivator for me. Because I'm to a stage now where it's almost routine. It's not something that I wake up and I don't think about, okay, well, I need to do this and this and this and just sort of part of my day. That's where I need to get to. I think it's where we all need to get to, actually, where you wake up, you have a regular breakfast, do a bit of exercise, get ready for work, all that good stuff. You feel better, and it just sort of becomes part of your daily habit. It's still sort of very scheduled out for me. I know, these are the days I need to do this, and I'm still tracking on my food. I need to watch what I'm eating, because getting complacent in this, especially at this stage, would be very, very dangerous for me, because it would be very easy to just sort of stop tracking and go, well, I don't need to track anymore. I know what I'm eating every day, and I do. I pretty much eat the same thing every day, and I'll have a regular breakfast and then coffee all day, and then I come home and I have a reasonable supper. But by not tracking that sort of goes in the same vein. If I was to say, okay, well, no, I know what I'm doing and everything's fine, and not tracking it, then it's easy to sort of slip snacks in there when I shouldn't, and although they're just apples, eating 50 apples is still bad. So I still need to sort of stay on target and make sure that I'm doing everything I need to do. Because, again, I don't want to get to that stage where I think, oh, no, things are fine. I know what I'm doing. Everything is good. Because I don't think that this is going to be, 2 or 3 months of me working at something and then being able to coast the rest of the way. Because, again, just like any other addiction, this isn't going to be, a short-term thing. I want this to be an ongoing thing for the full year. I want to get to a stage where after a year, then I sort of know what I'm doing. And right now, I still need to track stuff. I still need to be very much aware of what I'm doing, what I'm thinking. And primarily because of that, I still think that it was a valid, I keep saying realization or epiphany. I need another word. Revelation. Here we go. I think it's still valid because it wasn't something that I tried consciously to do. It was just something that it dawned on me. And I thought, I haven't really I've been going out and doing stuff, and, probably, I don't know if it's just because I'm getting used to it or it was just a fluke that was those few days. But I need to make sure that I understand that, yes, that's true, but I need to now keep that in mind at all times. Because it's very, very easy to get back into that and just start eating out of boredom and not even realizing it, or more than likely, just sort of deluding myself into thinking, no, I'm not actually bored. So, which can happen. We've all done it before. You've gotten to that stage where you've lost, say, 10 or 15 pounds, And you think, oh, clothes are fitting better. This is great. I'm losing weight. I can reward myself. And then you eat, 5 cakes and pass out in I was going to say sugar stupor. But something, anyway. Some sort of food-related coma. There we go. Anyway, that was pretty much it. I sort of wanted to touch on that. I know that we should really be dealing with exercise as well. But I think that where this week you're now doing something through all the videos, and then you're picking one a week that you're just going to sort of extend it out to half an hour, then I think we can wait until next week to do that. Or we might do it later on this week. I don't really know. Because it now, unfortunately, I wanted to have that structure in there. Something in my eye. I wanted to have that structure in there so that, I would know where things are going every week, and I'd be able to sort of plan ahead a little bit more. But now it almost feels too structured. It seems to be working, but now I'm just like, well, I can't do that because I have to wait for 4 days to do that. And it's sort of, I don't know, ruining some of the spontaneity of it, I think. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm not going to re-upload a video for the day that I did all the scheduling because then it's going to throw off my pattern because I put one up every single day, and it would drive me nuts to have that 1 day gap in there. So I'm going to keep it in there. We can always adjust as we go. Everything that we're doing has been evolving anyway. Whether we decide to do exercise and it doesn't come for 2 weeks, or if we make food changes and if they don't work, or if they do work, or if they're snacking things, just all sorts of different things that we've done that we are going to need to adapt and evolve as we go. Because, again, I don't know what I'm doing. You don't know what you're doing. None of us know what we're doing. And we're just sort of winging it through all this. So that'll have to sort of come in time. My hand is really itchy. I don't know I'm sorry if you can hear that in the mic, but for some reason it's really itchy and I don't know why. And it might be a horrible disease, or it might just be an itchy hand. I don't know. But also, if I do apologize if I'm sort of off a bit. In their infinite wisdom, my cats decided to just tear apart the house last night, all night. And so I've got about 2-3 hours sleep in me, and I have to go to work, and I don't want to. Plus, I'm tired and don't want to. But so I'm trying to get this done before. I usually try to get these done in the morning. I'll probably feel better once I do my treadmill. I haven't done it yet. But yeah, so now they get to tear all around the house and keep me awake. Of course, they didn't do it all weekend, but on the day I have to work, they decide that's the time to have a party. And of course, when I'm gone all day, they'll just sleep and they'll do it again tonight. Dumb little shits that they are. So, still better than having kids, I gotta say. Yay. Anyway, that's it for this video. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. And in the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.